This old building, like any living thing, always seems to need something, and it needs it right now. Usually, it's something that feels and is urgent and absolutely critical. A leaky roof, a broken window that's letting in sideways driving rain onto the hardwood floors, a wall about to collapse. It's like it's constantly raising its hand saying, pick me, fix me. And no matter how much you do, there's always one more thing. In fact, there's always about 10 more things. But here's the catch. Sometimes you really need to step back. You can't spend all your time on those critical repairs, or you'll burn out faster than a faulty third floor elevator circuit. No, every now and then it's important to focus on something that keeps you excited, that keeps you going, something that doesn't come with a long to-do list. And by that I mean to do projects that are fun and interesting and connected to the whole reason that you're fixing up your own personal abandoned building. I mean, I'm on this journey because it's fun and exciting and it's an adventure. And when you take care of yourself, you come back ready to tackle that next challenge. And don't worry, when you're ready, the building's urgent little needs will still be right there, waiting for you like old friends. So you balance the I have to with the I want to and keep moving forward, one step at a time, knowing that the building's always going to need something, it's always going to be urgent, but it's not going anywhere. Okay, so yesterday I was taking a trailer load of metal to the scrapyard, and that's all the stuff that came out of the front end there up in the ceiling that we spent probably a couple videos talking about and pulling out. And right when I was leaving, I looked over in the weeds and there were a couple old radiators there. And I mean, they were gone, they were totally roached, but they were the probably from some really old cars because they were super heavy. And I'm like, well, I'll throw those on the trailer too because it's a lot of weight and it might help the bottom dollar. And while I was driving over there, I thought I remembered somebody saying that they buy radiators separately. So when I got there, I asked and they said, yeah, and I took them off. There's 3 radiators and they gave me like $250 for those. So now the rest of this week, I'm gonna be looking around the place for radiators. But yeah, that was a real surprise and a real kind of a bonus. So, but I've got this like last little pile and some other little scraggly piles. Mostly I'm just taking this to get it out of here. I don't think it's gonna be worth much. Maybe that, because it's all light tin stuff, and maybe it's a total like 30 or 40 bucks for the whole trailer load. So, but it's okay, I'm getting it out of here. Whoa, that was not fun. It's dragged all that stuff from out behind the ramp. It's back in that corner back over there. And but I think these are gonna be perfect because once I put all that scrap on the trailer over there, then I'll just be able to cap it off with these. And I'll have a lot less chance of blowout going down the road. All right, so that actually worked out pretty well, those big pieces there, because I can strap that down and hopefully it'll keep everything
snug as a bug while I'm going down the road. Okay, what do you guys think that's worth? The fence is pretty heavy. A lot of that HVAC is not very heavy. And there's a sprinkling of those cast iron sprinkler pipes in there. So I'm guessing between $65 and $70, just my guess. I might be high, that might be rich, we'll see. Basically, you just pull up and dump it off, and then they push it up with a bulldozer and load it into those trucking containers over there. Well, I misjudged that one. $47.65. So I should negotiate with these guys a better price, because everybody's bringing dishwashers and fridges and stuff like that. They're like 80% plastic, and the stuff I'm bringing over is like just pure metal, nothing on it, just metal. So that's not quite fair, is it? Anyway, it's gone. That's the important thing. And being the eternal optimist, I overestimated. $47. Okay, so while that version of me is driving back from the scrapyard, I wanted to take just a quick second to share this with you. This is a journal. Or maybe it's more like a diary. It was written in 1917, starting in 1917, and it was written by the editor of the Charleston local newspaper. So it may be the first scrapbook that ever existed, because it's just jam-packed with photos that are entered on all the pages, notes in the margins. It's handwritten, it's beautifully written, easy to read, and it's such a pleasure to read. It's titled The Shack, and that's because he bought a parcel of land about 9 miles from town out by our local Embraw River, and he put up a fishing shack out there, and he would go out there on the weekends, and he was kind of documenting that process. But along the way, he was also documenting his friendships and the people he was meeting with and what was going on in the town. And in a couple places, it mentions trying to woo the Buster Brown Shoe Company to put a factory up in Charleston. In those days, Buster Brown would get preferential treatment from small towns because they would bring the factory and employ the residents. They would actually get the towns to pay for building the building, and they would get really great tax incentives as payment for bringing their manufacturing to the towns. And so he wrote about that process, and he wrote about the process when the building was getting actually erected, and there's some photographs in there of that as well. But I started reading this, and I just couldn't put it down. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make this available free for everybody if you'd like to download it. The first place I'm going to put that is on my new Patreon account. But don't worry, this is going to be free for everybody. The link to download the book is in the description below. So it's a part 1 and a part 2. It's a PDF. It was scanned by the Genealogical Society in Charleston at the public library. But I got so many comments from people asking if I was going to do a Patreon, which I've never done. And to be honest, I didn't quite get it, how to do it. I didn't think that I had any value that I could give in return. And I was talking with Bob, and he said I was kind of missing the point. It's basically just a way for people to interact with me and with the channel and contribute to the process of saving this historic building. And so the more I thought about it, I thought, wow, you know what? I've got this book. I've got all of these old historic photos. I got a bunch of outtakes and
kind of cool stuff that doesn't actually make it into the videos. I got historic photos, I got all kinds of stuff, and I could make that available. So what I decided to do was make a Patreon page for those people who are interested. Everything that I have, I'll start posting on a regular basis there. And then once it's been there a while and everybody's had a chance to look at that, then I'll move it and make it free. So, and then once it becomes free, you can just see it there on the Patreon page and on my public page that doesn't require any payment or anything like that. So the only thing you have to do is just go to Patreon, set up a account by putting in your name and your email address, and you're good to go. You can see any of the stuff on the public wall that I've made for free. So for those of you who want to do that, that is awesome, and I'm so grateful. And for everybody else, I'm also grateful to you guys too, because you're watching my channel. So, and that's why I'm doing this. So just look in the description below, and you'll see a direct download link from Dropbox. So, okay, let's get back to it.
Okay, so it's my last day, and there are so many things I should probably be doing, but as usual, I'm getting distracted by something. I just came across this old furniture cart dolly. It's thick steel webbing is on top of it, and it's got some really cool cast mounts for the wheels. And I also remember that I had something over in the woods on the other end of the building that I want to use, and I think they would pair together wonderfully. So I also am hoping to install something to do with pulleys in the venue rental space, because everything in this factory ran on pulleys and belts at one time. So that could be a great mounting bracket for a pulley. I don't know if that actual wheel is a pulley or not, but I want to also take that off and save it as well. Believe it or not, it actually rolls pretty good. Pull it up here where we can work on it. Turn it over, have a look at it. Wood is completely gone. Let me turn it over. And these are what I'm really excited about as well. So I think I can just bust this wood out and probably get those. I didn't realize that they don't match. This one had some tie rod things in it that I cut, and this side doesn't have them. It's like a heck of a washer there. Don't know where it goes. I'm guessing it goes, yeah, on there. Look, that's still greased after all these years. Let's see. Look how lubricated that is. That's pretty cool. All right, so we got these guys. This one mounting bracket, which is my favorite part of it, and there's one right here. So I'm gonna use a sawzall to cut out this wood. Oh, there's where those ties are. The wood was gone on the other side, and there's a bolt with a nut that goes all the way through here. So when I remove this, I'll be able to cut those bolts just like I did on the other side, and I'll have the whole complete thing. I did scar it up just a touch there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's off. Clean that up. I might just use the sawzall, just segment these, and then they should knock out with a hammer, because this is pretty resilient. As rotten as that is, the core of it's still okay. It doesn't want to give up the ghost. I thought about knocking with a sledgehammer, but there is a chance. I mean, though that's pretty thick metal, some of the cross members aren't super thick, and I could warp it and bend it more than it already is, which I don't want. So I think I'm just going to go with the regular hammer and keep knocking out as much as I can. I just found something really cool. I don't know if it's legible or not. Let me see. Check that out. What does that say? Something freight lines. Hayes Freight Lines. Number 97. Wow. So I'm gonna actually try to save this little piece of wood because it'll bend if I try to take it off. It'll just be kind of a neat little thing. Okay. Off of there. Yeah. Cool. All right. Vibrated too much. All right, let me see if I can figure something. Perfect phone stand. Perfect. Man, that is hard wood. Good grief. All right. This thing is not cooperating. All right, one piece out. Wonder. This is not going very well. All right. This is not going very well. I wanted to take the delicate approach, but the delicate approach is not working. It's my last day. I don't have time. Shouldn't be working on this project at all. Well, apparently, that's not good. This might have been a giant fail. It might be too far rusted. Gosh, I hate it. I love to have wins, but sometimes it doesn't work out. I was whacking away, and that has been welded at some point. And the weld broke from me whacking on it. So I don't know why there would be a weld right in the middle of the side brace on there. But I have a welder, so I can put it back together. I've got the bulk of the wood off. There's like just a little bit there, and then on this side. I'm gonna set this up there, and I'm gonna go get the legs and show those to you guys. And I think I'll give this a little more attention and energy on my next trip when I have a little bit more time. Looking worse for wear, and it's all wonky and stuff. I've got all the guts, so I'll be able to put that back together. And I'm really excited to make an inlaid table out of it. But I've got windows to fix, and I've got roofing issues. So I've talked about these legs before. They were way back there toward the front. They were buried in the ground. They were part of an old wagon for the railway. I think it was probably a wagon that was used here on the property because the railroad track used to run right through here. They would load and unload product over there. We've got some old pictures of that.
Now we know for a fact that the railroad tracks at one point ran directly across the property, not more than 10 feet away from the building. I don't have any footage, but at the front of the property, there are some tracks surfacing from underground that have been buried with time. I don't know if they are still there underground all the way across the property or if they've been cut off, but more on that in a video coming up really soon. We're going to investigate that. But we were looking at these old historic photos and we were searching for other buildings that were on the property. And if you look at this picture here, we've got the factory on the right, the dance hall that Buster Brown built for the employees on the left. And then if you look right between them, kind of down in the middle there, there's a black box. And Bob noticed it first, and we were wondering, is that a building? Then we found the photograph that was taken on the same day from the opposite side of the building, and there it is, clear as day. There is a train wagon that's pulled right up to the loading dock. That is pretty cool. It's amazing how much you can learn by looking at these old photos.
And there was a cart that would go on the railroad tracks, and it was half buried in the ground, and a tree had grown through it, and we barely got that thing out. I think I pulled it out with a tractor when I first brought the tractor over. And then I needed to use a trailer, and I offloaded them here, and it looks like they're getting buried again. These would have been the corners of the cart. There we go. And I'll show you here in a second what's so cool about them. Be heated and straightened. They are ultra heavy, thick steel. And so you see those rivets there? See if I can get out. When I get it in the sun, I can't see the screen on my camera. So the boards on the side of the cart would fit in between that slot, down that slot, and those bolts would go through those boards. And this would be like the front of the cart, and this would be down the side. And so basically, that would create a box with all four corners. The interesting thing is that at the top, they've got this pocket right here, and that is perfect for holding the corner of a table. So what I'm thinking is, with that metal thing that I just was taking apart, with inlaid wood between the squares of it, and these legs on the corner of it, that could be like a really unique, super industrial, super overbuilt, heavy duty, cool industrial table, like a one-of-a-kind type deal. So I'm gonna bring these inside. They're not doing any good out here. I actually was worried that somebody might have seen them and grabbed them, because they are pretty cool. People don't value the same things I do. So, all right. Okay, so tell me that that is not going to make the coolest industrial, medieval looking, too heavy table you've ever seen. Oh my gosh. All right. I get sidetracked. Squirrel. Okay, so this is maybe something you guys haven't seen on the channel before. You've been waiting for it to make an appearance. Sadly, it's not mine, but it belongs to a friend of mine. And I'm going to put it to work. You got to get these just right, or you can split the pallet apart. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can figure a way to rig this up. Okay. Got myself a little pull-behind trailer, and I'm gonna pull it up on the ramp. We're gonna pick something up, but because of the length of the tractor plus this, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to turn around. I might have to unhook this and turn around. All right, this is a time when I could really use the elevator because I could just take it through that overhead door there and bring it down the elevator. But sadly, I don't have one quite yet. It's in store, but not quite yet done. So these are the two pieces that we removed in a recent video off of that those beams. They're kind of in the shade there. I don't know if you can see them. They were mounted in this corner of the building, and the brickwork is starting to crack there a little bit. So the timing was perfect because Bob came up with the idea of putting some industrial components in the venue rental space. He was at a bed and breakfast type place. They had lots of the old machinery there, and it looked really awesome. So we wanted to do something similar. So the question is, will I be able to get that onto that pallet? I don't know. I could bring the bucket truck up here and use the hydraulics to put it on, just like we got it down. But I don't want to go to all that, so I think I'll just see if I can put some elbow grease in and get it on there. Whoa. Bucket truck. Okay, so this chain's probably a little bit overkill, but all my other chains are being used at the moment, so that's what we're going to go with. This winch off of here. I only needed to lift it about 10 inches, so now the question is, how do I get it down the hill, because it can take off if I start rolling it down. So. Okay, so the cool thing is it's got the release on the dolly, and so I'm gonna try to let it downhill. And I'm gonna have it just a little bit above the ground. And if it starts to get away from me, I'll just hit that release and it'll set the pallet down. So hopefully we'll be okay. That's up. Yeah, I think I'll be all right. Yeah, it's okay. Man, this is a lot of steps to get this thing inside. Okay, here goes nothing. I don't know if that'll get it off the ground or not, but at least we'll get that front edge. We'll see how it does. Well, made a mistake. I'm not one of those perfect YouTubers. I should have been through here instead of on there, because it's just going to slide off the end there. Well, now I'm in trouble. Big trouble. I don't know. That chain cinched down on it pretty good. It might drag like it. I'm going to give it a shot. Okay. Okay. Whew, wow. That's a pretty cool mount in itself. Just, I mean, look how, I don't know if you can tell how thick that is, but that's pretty heavy stuff. And I know there are a lot of people about to roll their eyes, but I think that thing is just beautiful. With the clear coat on that to just give it a little bit of a shine so it doesn't have the dry look, that would look pretty awesome. I don't know if we're going to leave this housing. I thought about a couple things. What would be cool for me is to turn it upside down and mount it on a wall and then put a circular sign on the inside or something. I don't know. Who knows what this is going to be. But we're going to make it a featured element somewhere in the building. So outside between the ramp and the ground where we took this off, I found a motor on the ground. And I think it's the motor that went on that. And basically had like a shaft that would turn and run a belt that would go around this thing here. And that in turn would spin that guy in there. Look how smoothly that's still working. And get airflow. And that is a wicked looking fan in there. But had a little port there. And so I don't know if it's the motor that went with this, but it looks super old. And it was directly below this thing. So, I mean, all common sense would tell you it's this one. I'm going to go grab it and bring it and just see if the bolt holes line up. Because if it fell off, because it was directly below it on the ground, you would think that some of these bolts would be broken or something, and that's how it fell off. Because if somebody went to the trouble of removing it, why would they just drop it on the ground and leave it? Been a while since we've been in this room, huh? We got distracted from this room once we decided to worry about trying to get the front end of the building up and legal. Look at that guy. I don't know if we'll be able to see a date on that or not. I don't think it's legible, sadly. But the motor mount holes are still intact, so it didn't break off. But we'll know in a second. Oh, this thing is heavy. Well, what do you know? This was directly below it, but it's just a coinky dink because there's the bolts that held the motor. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. But look how far off that is. So that is not the motor. That really surprises me. But come to think of it, maybe not so much because that is a gigantic mount. And that is a gigantic piece of equipment there. So probably it did have a much larger motor on there. So what do you guys think? I know there's somebody out there, probably a lot of you guys know what the answer to that is. I just thought maybe that could be it because that turns so freely, it takes almost no, I mean, look, just, that's how good they made stuff, man. That is so awesome. But, so I was thinking a small motor could run that, but apparently not. We need a much bigger motor because that one does not fit. Huh. Wonder if the spare elevator motor would fit on there. That'd be pretty cool. All right.